This is for, thanks for coming hanging out with us, bro. I appreciate everything, man.
Cheers.
Cheers. Salud.
I'm going to try to do this.
Oh, man. You're right there, man. You're still young. Welcome to another episode of Drunken Public. We're here with Matt Dixon, the king of NTX Beer Week.
Right.
He's the king. He proves all, he proves all the beers in North Texas. So
thank God I do not. I tried that early on. That was kind of how me and my original partner met. Well, we met through my wife that started homebrew, and we were terrible at brewing beer.
See, I'm worried about that too, because that might be bad at brewing beer.
Yeah.
I get a little worried about that.
Have you tried? Have you guys tried brewing
We talked
beer?
about it, but I'm not that...
I mean, it's really easy, and at the end of the day, I can't cook as part of the problem, but really all you do is have to boil. He lived downtown, like right across from that Main Street Park now that it's called now, and so he just was a bachelor, lived downtown. I had just had my now almost be 7-year-old son, and lived in Plano, where I still live. And so it was like, my wife was already, hey, you've been there 8 hours brewing this one batch of beer. Come on.
Yeah.
So I would leave and be like, hey, you got to clean all this. Well, I'm sure you guys know, like, cleanliness is one of the most important things to brewing beer. And so I'd come back, be like, hey, let's bottle. We have to use this same thing to like rack it in and bottle it. And it would be like sitting there from last time all day.
Oh, disgusting, yeah.
So that, on top of just process and, you know, and it's a lot of patience because you do all the work, and then we would go bottle it.
And wait for it to ferment, and then...
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we had one that the last straw was for my son being born, actually. So we even had some of our homebrew like at my wife and I's wedding.
Yeah.
That we had made, and I can't even...
Could you hit it with a machete? Like...
No, we should have. That would have been way
I was
cool.
gonna say,
Man, However, then time travel, I'll go back.
There you go.
Alter the whole thing of time.
The one thing he goes back for, just to go like slap it up with a machete.
I'm out of here.
I'm out. Enjoy that, guys.
hit a Doc Brown or whatever. But
Yeah.
For my kid being born, we made a Imperial Stout type
Nice.
thing, but didn't make like a starter yeast deal. We just didn't do it right.
Yeah.
And so we also had like
I was gonna ask you, like, what went wrong? Because you said it didn't go well when you brew, but
Yeah, it's the cleanliness thing, and then in this case, it's laziness and wanting to like
Get it
cut
out.
corners, which is not the
Shortcut
way
it.
you cut.
I mean, eventually you can once you get the
like
recipe down.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and if we had been, I think one of us, I still have some bottles maybe somewhere, and he moved to Colorado. So my guess is when he moved, he had all of our equipment. We had eventually bought like a turkey fryer little deal.
So does he still make beer? Do you know?
No, we quit at the same time. It was like we started Dallas Brew Scene, and that was kind of okay, this will be how we, be part of beer, kind of.
Get your foothold.
Yeah, or put our passion of beer like out into the world thing or whatever it is, instead of trying to brew it. So.
See, we keep it much simpler. We're like, hey, we like the beer. We will drink it with you.
Yeah, I've been really good at drinking it over that.
Well,
not what that just showed, the chug, but...
well, you also have, you back on doing the podcast thing with On Air Media, hanging out with them.
That came kind of out of nowhere. Just my buddy Joey, who's the owner of Full Clip, I guess he'd been talking to him for a while about it, and then all of a sudden he's like, hey, we're doing this. They wasn't even like asking me, do you want to do this thing?
We're doing it.
We're going to do this show. And so then it became like, well, hey, I have limited time, just again, like wife and kid and stuff. Have like basically 4 jobs between everything that I do. So I don't know that I'm even going to be able to keep up with it. So he's like, now we're going to do first and third Friday of every. So now what I've tried to get his mind around is like, let's record 2 in 1.
Yeah, you can
record
do
1 hour. There's nobody at the 6 o'clock, so we just do the 6 o'clock. But it's kind of a trim. And y'all been in. I don't know if you've been in the new studio, the old one.
Who's running the show?
Ziggy.
Shit, our man Ziggy.
Ziggy's the best. We're gonna get him on our podcast in the streets.
Love some Ziggy. We like end every show with a random Ziggy joke.
Yeah, little zingers.
We're like kind of figuring out as we go, but what I want to do is kind of set, not really bits, but set segments or But with him owning a distributor and me just kind of being around since the beginning and doing the stuff that I do, we're in a unique position to that thing. So like last episode, like I was telling you guys before we started, they're talking about like the margins of beer here and at the brewery as opposed to that, and how the 3-tier system works, which is, that's some stuff that they can kind of uniquely tell, which is cool.
So Full Clip, are they? So I saw Parish Brewing. They're posted up. They're going to be in the Texas market now. So Full Clip, are they taking it on, or who's? I
don't know. I think I saw, like, I don't pay attention as well as I used to. I think I saw that it was Houston maybe first or somewhere.
Yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me, just because 3 or 4 years ago with Beer Week when we started working with Full Clip, I think he had 4 or 5 breweries.
They're doing it right, man. They got a lot of like solid.
Joey's a good dude. His team does business the right way. His team
is great.
Good, I mean, and they pick up good beer. I mean, we get Rough Tail now because of them. And a bunch of others that are leaving my head right now. But
they do. And leaving our head too. We had I forget his name already. One of the distributors on our podcast, and he was cool. Of course, we know Dom from Oak Cliff Brewing. The tap room manager.
False Idol or
Yeah, that's his brewery. So shout out to Dom, good guy. But everybody who works for them or still working for them, all good people.
They all have nothing but good things to say.
They all willing to chuck a beer real quick.
That's true.
Yeah, and they talked we did a shotgun 2 weeks ago. So I was in Austin for ACL last episode. So Corey, the owner right here again, and Carl, the owner of Manhattan Project.
What's Carl's shotgun game like?
They did not shotgun that one, nor did we shotgun in studio. We did. So Joey tried to do like it was live thing, but we pre-recorded it. So he tried to sync up the questions, and it almost worked. It was really funny. But he had all the Full Clip guys like standing on the outside deal, and he's like, "What's up, guys?" And they did a shotgun.
That's dope. That's a good idea.
You can tell they're it's beer, so it's easy to have a good time.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Eddie Beer podcast is great. I really like the first 2 episodes I watched with you guys. You really like the episode with Carl about the whole tier system.
Yeah.
His first one he was on there, so it's great. I haven't watched the latest one, but Hops and Grain.
Martinis thing.
Yeah. They that history of the IPAs. I listened to it like 3 or 4 times. That was a lot of info.
I haven't listened to all of them all the way through, but because it's a lot. That's the hard thing is trying to figure out like. And even with that one, I've talked to him about, I don't want to get too super industry insider because there's only, you build yourself in a box of however many people are going to watch that and even get anything out of it.
Yeah,
but I feel like there's a good mix of us here in the DFW area that's doing different takes on it. You guys have all the connections. I think but it's also fun. You guys are hanging out and you guys are just drinking, hanging out.
We certainly don't have. I try and the first 2, the only 2 I've kind of.
Well, the only 2 I've listened to so
we
far.
We had the kids, in there, like Joey's kids and then Carl's
kids was having dying laughing. We did not sit still.
So I'm in the middle of something and Carl underneath me pulls it. He did not want the thing to be plugged in. So not only, I think I even made a joke on air about like Aunt Edith or whatever for Christmas Vacation's cat. I'm like, hey man, you shouldn't be underneath there messing with that. He's in there like pulling this plug out. Like,
he would not. It was funny.
But he broke a pair of headphones that I think Carl's gonna have to replace.
It's a 1 free keg, I think.
Yeah. Well, that's part of it is so like they now have this really nice fridge.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's stocked full of all these Full Clip beers and then a keg of, I don't think it's alcoholic kombucha. I think it's just regular.
I think it's really good. Yeah, regular.
But they do have that whatever nectar or whatever, the alcoholic kombucha.
Their setup's really nice, and we love being there. They have a great little setup.
Ziggy was. I didn't know what to. I'm like,
Ziggy makes
we'll try this, and then
Ziggy makes
Ziggy, and I'm like, well, I'm in now, man, because I'm kind of at this point. I won't do stuff. I don't really have time to take on new shit, anyways. But I won't do even the things I'm doing unless I'm having a good time.
Yeah, I mean that's the way.
But you can see you having fun fun on the podcast. And I think like we have fun. I think all of us do something. I think we are on an aspect of just enjoying beer and trying to learn more.
Yeah.
And of course, just getting drunk. Or I think one of my favorite episodes where we got my apartment getting drunk. We had like 10 beers.
A lot of good beers, just pounding through it.
Yeah, I told him we should do. Have you ever seen like on Vice?
Yeah.
The whatever
The
his
weed
name
stuff?
is. So yeah, all that. I'm like, man, it's a shame it's not legal here because we could do some pretty entertaining
hilarious
shows.
shit.
Everybody's been talking about that, waiting for that to pass. Yo.
I saw something today, like a congressman has laid out the blueprints for in 2019 how we come. I mean, Canada.
His name starts with a B?
I didn't see that. Yeah, I don't know.
Like that.
I mean, I don't know no candidates' names, but
Just go out there and vote. It's
Oh,
like,
is that dude in it? Yeah, we have a sign in our yard for that dude. I'm not political at all.
Okay.
My wife's grandma brings him a Beto sign, and I'm like, yeah, throw it in there. What I don't like about it is at the bottom of it, I saw it as I was leaving today to come up here. It says,
It says
vote
smoke weed every
Democrat.
day.
I wish. Put that in there now. It says vote Democrat, and I just don't want to tell people
Yeah, you don't
one way or
have to.
another.
Don't
I'm
corner
cool
yourself.
saying, like, I'm pro this man.
Yeah,
Because,
you don't have to pigeonhole yourself and say I'm
I was
this or
saying,
that.
there's nothing wrong voting Republicans, there's nothing wrong voting Democrat or liberal, whatever party you want to be, as long as they're doing something for the community that you agree with.
I'd say, I guess, as long as you vote, which I have not been part of for a while. In fact, one night, our last Bring Your Own Vinyl night, we're in this corner hanging out, and I said something about, no, I'm not even registered.
And they're like, what?
Corey comes at me hardcore, like right over there. It's like, you fucking kidding me? He gets on. I'm like, hey, man. So that plus talking, it was just like, okay. And looking at more and more, I don't know if he's going to win that election, but to see the thing of the amount of money, like more than ever, right?
man,
Or
a lot
whatever
of-
it is.
yeah,
that's
the record
coming to
amount.
Texas.
But it's so weird though. Like I've never seen this election, especially for Texas. I've been in Texas going 11 years, 10 years, 11 years, whatever it is. I've never seen this much money for a Senate.
Yeah, no doubt.
And
Man,
it is
You
not,
got the record for the most amount raised in like a
it's like
Since
insane.
early 90s
Yeah,
maybe
the
or
last
something
one was
crazy?
in New York against Hillary Clinton. One of the guys out there in New York. He ended up losing, but
I think he
Yeah.
might end up losing too. But at the end of the day, like they got celebrities putting money in his stuff that's not even from Texas. Like
Well, it's interesting to see.
he was on Ellen. Like, come on, what
Yeah,
are you
it's
talking
pretty cool.
about?
an Ellen bum, man. You gotta watch out for that. That's dangerous. That's dangerous.
I want to get Ellen on a, like maybe on a short segment of us drinking. Like we all go over there and have her introduce to some really good beer and hang out and drink with her, but not be on the whole show. Like
It's like pop in, kind of. You can probably go watch it, right?
Let's
Like, be in the audience or
Yeah.
something part of the
be in
show.
the green room in the back.
Sure, as long it's like Price is Right, as long as you have similar shirts on.
Yeah.
Attention to you,
I
right?
feel like it'd be dope to really like shotgun a beer with Ellen. That'd be
That's what I'm
dope.
saying, right? Get on there and be like, hey, we're from Texas.
Or as we're just like smoke some weed with Ellen.
Yeah,
Would also
Ellen.
be a very-
I'll be-
hit
What's
us up. All three of
What's
us be
up?
down.
I'm down to smoke, but
We got
I'll
some
be that
social
social
reach in
back.
Dallas.
Yeah,
I don't know if
yeah, Come on here, Ellen. We'll have some fun.
I don't know if you want to put your name on that, but you could if you want to.
Low
No
key.
cameras, no audio. we
Yeah,
just
yeah,
hang out.
just come hang out in the calm down corner and get it done.
No, but let's bring it back down to NTX
Yeah.
Texas Beer Week. So you're in charge of it.
Yeah, so it started, we're going to the 6th year. I'll give you a very smashed version of the history of it. So it started actually, Dallas Beer Week was what it was called. And there was a couple from Houston, really well intended and just good, passionate people, but lived down in Houston and weren't connected really here. And if you think about it here, like we were talking about earlier, when this place opened, even, there's Rogue, Stone, the list of breweries outside of Texas that were coming in here, but otherwise was way different. So we had the first year of it, Mikkel, whatever you say his name,
Yeah.
came and had a dinner here, and he had some other guy that was with him that talked the entire time. He came out literally the last 10 minutes of the thing, Mikkel, and went and sat in the corner and like didn't talk to anybody. And that was my first taste. That was like
That's
shit
weird.
now 8-9 years ago of like, oh, that's how most brewers are. And like the more that I meet of them, they're very
Really?
there's some that do want to be immersed in with the people. Like
Well, I
Grant
can see
Wood's
that.
great with it, and Jamie Fulton, the community.
Jamie
and there's
is,
a bunch of people
Jamie is
that
freaking
are
hilarious,
really
but
good,
I think Todd is like that. Todd is the one talking to nobody. Todd is the one to hang out with his friends and then
a lot of them that are just like, I just want to make beer and kind of. It's with the Brewers Ball, the thing we used to do this year's the first year we haven't had it with North Texas Beer Week, but it'd be funny that some brewers against standing at their table perked up talking to everybody, and then some brewers are just kind of sitting in the back. And
They're like, I create masterpieces. I'm a genius.
like, just drink my beer.
Just drink my beer.
Hi, I'm here. I'm wearing a shirt. My name's on it. It says Brewmaster.
I make it. I make the beer.
Yeah, so we they did a good job those first 2 years, and they did just kind of volunteer, and they didn't really do a paid thing. It was just, if you're a place that wants to celebrate Beer Week, be a part of it. The problem with that is you have very limited voice of what you can go out and do with marketing and just get the word out. So we had started Dallas Brew Scene. We helped out in the second year. They named us lieutenants, actually. This weird thing. They gave us these weird things to put on our shirts. It was kind of weird, yeah. Again, they're very nice. It was just but I mean, we'd be in meetings and people would go, well, what should I do? I'm talking to my neighborhood bar and they want to do events. What should I tell them? And they're like, well, just tell them to do events. So there weren't really much direction. So what Corey and I kind of did was very carefully get them to kind of give off the reins to us and say, hey, there's a group in Dallas that wants to do it. Renamed it North Texas. So we're going on our 6th year now, so that was whatever the year and a half would be now of that. And really a lot of it was born at this place, at the common table, sitting up here. We knew we needed to have different facets or kind of different A for buy-in, but also just if Corey and I made the beer week we wanted, it would be great for us, but probably a lot of other people wouldn't like it. We're pretty weird. So,
but be weird, embrace it.
Well, there's we can do that with some of the stuff we do. There's some of our beer week events that are for the Bus to Nowhere with Brain Dead is a great example of that, where we just load up.
I got a question about that.
Some weird places.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, we put together a board of directors that had people from Benny, Keith, and Andrews, the 2 big distributors at the time, people from breweries, people from social media, kind of like me and my partner, my ex-partner were at the time with Dallas Brew Scene.
Yeah.
And it kind of just rolled from there. And going into, I guess, the 3rd year, we realized, well, this thing's gotten pretty big. Our scene's not only growing, but we're also doing this beer week gets bigger and bigger. We have all these events, we have national things that have started to take interest and want to sponsor and put money into it, Yeti and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And with the ball and things like that. And so we're going to hit a ceiling unless somebody can kind of take it on full time, and just kind of square peg, square, hole type of thing, where I was able just to kind of to move in and become king. Executive director, I think we called it early on. And then
that sounds almost fancy if you think about it.
We had this really cool, so the ticket was always part of a partner early on. They kind of just saw the vision, which is really cool. So to have, I'm not a sports ball person, but to have them talking about beer, like people that do listen to it, that are my friends, are like sick and tired of hearing about Beer Week during Beer Week. This is over. And, sorry, it's a good problem for me to have.
That's a great problem.
Yeah. So we had this Dallas Morning News partnership too as well. So they owned part of Untapped Festival. And we all just kind of worked together within Crowdsource, which puts on Savor, and it's kind of the events part of the Dallas Morning News. Well, they sold off Untapped, and kind of beer was not as much of a focus for Morning News and Crowdsource a couple years ago. So we rolled out, and luckily I had this company called From the Balcony that I do my brew bus tours under, and I've always done Brew Scene under, and just kind of was like, well, instead of making a new entity, let's just keep the train rolling and go, right? So as of last year and then this year again, it's kind of just still have the board and still kind of have a guiding, people help keep me on my toes and make sure I'm doing the right stuff and all that, And it's really hard to be everything to everybody, because it's of course.
You can't please everybody, dude.
You can't. Well, I have a question. Like, how can we get more people involved? I was surprised that I mentioned Place through our messaging to go do this podcast, and they weren't involved with North Texas Beer Week, and I was surprised. So how can we get more people and more scenes involved, especially here in North Texas?
So it's tough. In the previous years, we kind of went with the shotgun blast, or like quantity versus quality approach, right? I'll stand by, like, if you're building something, and especially if it's this. First year it was 7 days, like a true week, and then I think it was the ticket going into second year was like, we would like to do more programming, and it gives us some more time. So, and other ones across the country had gone to 10 days, and so we're like, so 10 days, so now it's 10 days. And so in the previous years, we would have like 300, 400, 500, I think, one of the year's events. Well, going into this year, I got a lot of feedback from pretty much every tier: distributors, beer lovers, consumers, venues, bars. We also had Untapped or Index, which was one half, and then you had the other end, the Brewers Ball, which was very straining because there's only so much resources and time and beer that people can put towards it.
Yeah.
So the big feedback I got was it was just too many events. Like, if you looked at the calendar, and if on Tuesday, even though the top tier sponsors were listed first and all that, one of the struggles with DFW, or I guess one of the unique things, is and I was born and raised in Louisville, so I guess I kind of understand this from day one or whatever, like day one. But you're not going to leave your little section.
Your little area.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier to not. And so if you looked at Beer Week in previous years and there was, I'd really like to go to Denton to check out whatever, East Side or Oak Street or one of those badass places up there, I'll just go to my bar that's right here on the corner. And so we used to have a base level participant level that was pretty accessible, like $75 buy-in. Mm-hmm. It didn't get any of the swag. It didn't get any of the like really other perks and stuff, but it just existed. So this year I got rid of that thinking, quality, not quantity. So if there's even 80 events or 100 events, they're 80 or 100 really, really good events of people that want to put their best foot forward and all that. So I think that's part of where some of it is. Coming up on tomorrow, we'll be 2 weeks out, so I've in the last few weeks moved from the setting up the Domino's stage to I'm about to hit them and
knock them down
and watch them go, right? So that's part of the call I have with Observer here, in 4:30. So they've stepped on this year.
We beat you, Observer. We were first.
Yeah, I got them. Got an hour and a half. But they're our co-presenting sponsor this year, which to do a lot more digital, a whole different audience.
They're massive. Well, obviously we're a podcast and we're starting out, but they're massive and they're good people, man. We met some people.
Did you guys go to that beer festival? I didn't go.
Yeah, I was there. I got a media pass. I was there from the beginning, but I got the media pass through Coop, a really good friend,
nice.
Courtney.
Yeah, Courtney's the shit.
So shout out to Coop and Courtney. I love you guys.
Yeah.
So we got there and I got to hang out there, and they put on a really good festival.
Cool venue. It's a good. As somebody who's worked on events and stuff, I would love to have a footprint like that to work with.
We've heard that's like a lot of the brewers and breweries, like that's their favorite festival to go. Like if you're in the industry, like that's a really good one to go to. It's a lot of fun for all of them.
I think they probably make it. Part of that is making it really easy on people.
Yeah.
I think also that's part of the Beer Week thing. Like I use this analogy that I have since the beginning of Beer Week's a stage, right? And so like I can set the stage and I can get partners like the ticket. I mean, there's literally and quantifiably over millions of people, hundreds of thousands of millions of people in North Texas and beyond.
And it's growing. And North Texas is growing rapidly.
Well, no, I just mean that'll hear about beer during Beer Week because of the ticket, Observer, our own voice, the combined voice of other people.
Our reach.
And huge stuff like that. And I think it, like I said, I've always used, like it's, with that whole voice, we can bring people in, but I can't do an event. I'm doing some this year, which making that beer, the certified dank thing with Do 2 and 4 that I run, and then
I like how you slide it in. You're making a beer, but
I'm not like it again. I just I'm going tomorrow actually. So yeah, if you go to like the Do 2 and 4 social media, I think we're gonna do some like live stuff and all that. It's at Noble Ray. We're making a hemp ale, which I think is the first.
Well, Noble Ray is phenomenal. I forgot the head brewer's name. Tommy, fucking hilarious. He was a secret guest on our last few episodes.
Yeah, Tommy's a badass. Tommy and his wife.
I heard she was a phenomenal cook. That's what I kept hearing the whole podcast. She can cook.
She's British, and so it's all like.
But can the British cook though?
Yeah.
The shit I've had is great. It's like little meat pie thing.
They love
like Hot Pockets, but good Hot Pockets.
Craft Hot Pockets.
Right, it's Craft Hot Pockets. It's artisanal Hot Pockets.
So I think it's cool. I think for like the whole North Texas Beer Week stuff, I think it's cool because you've been there since kind of the inception of craft beer coming into the whole Texas scene. So you've seen it come from just like you said, like raw and Franconia kind of starting it out to what it's become now. It's just like exponentially grown, right?
Yeah.
So what's the biggest thing? Like, what are some things you've noticed, like difference-wise? Like, what's your favorite thing about it growing? Is it just the amount of people coming into the fold, like craft beer drinkers, or
So even like here, they launched Deep Ellum not long after Anvil Pub tapped the first Deep Ellum keg, like 11/11/11, which is just easy to remember. And so, so to go from there to it's 2018 now. The growth is. I think there's good and bad to it. I think the good part is part of why I started all of the stuff I did. And when I started all of it, and even Beer Week, I was a corporate trainer. Like, so first I was with this company called Capital One, which probably everybody knows. And then
I don't bank with them. Not at all.
Not my wallet.
Not my wallet.
And then a company called Exeter, which is another auto finance company, which was where I worked whenever I started doing all this full time. And so I think, early on there was really cool. I mean, I think there was a time in this scene, and really it was part of what beer was then too, I think. It still exists, but it was super special. Like, I think looking back on it, it feels like you're looking back on this 20 years ago thing. It's not even a decade ago, you know.
Glory years.
Right, but it really was.
But the people here who've been here for like you from the beginning, it's a deep connection because you were here from the inception, like on the outside looking in and being involved with it from the beginning. Like it's your baby. Like you were in the community, you knew everybody.
There was a true sense of community too, to where it was, and it sounds so cheesy, but it was like everybody helping everybody.
Yeah.
All the time, and I don't know anything else that's ever existed, like at least that I'm aware of, to where, and not that it still doesn't exist. There are surely, I mean, I'm like, you can join the Brewers Guild to support them as like a allied trait member with your company.
But it's not that close connection, like where you really.
It's not quite the same thing. Well, I was gonna say they have like a forum, and there's still people that are like, I've got a whole bunch of extra this hop.
Yeah.
Come pick it up, you know, if you're trying to use it, type of thing. Which
that's cool.
I don't know. Or my guess would be that like Coke and Pepsi don't share like trade secrets.
Yeah, what's up, San Diego?
Like that,
you guys do that?
So I've been out there. That was actually Orange County is where really I've always liked beer, and it was always something. Like I was the dude at high school parties. It's like, hey, hands off my Rolling Rock. I only have a 6-pack of them. Y'all have the beast over there, sort of thing, right? But I will say, and I want to go on record, like, especially a lot of my family and growing up in Louisville, there's like friends that I have that have found me on and see all the beer stuff I do, and they're like, you're one of those beer snobs or beer whatever. I am not. Like, if you want to drink, like you mentioned drinking Miller Lite over last week, fuck yeah, man, drink Miller Lite. There's a time and place for most beers.
It is.
There are, now that you get into the argument of selling out and the evil and who's trying to squeeze, but
beer.
Man, we live in America.
Yeah.
And
it's a capitalist society.
Like this is. Sorry, but you know,
this is the truth. I think me and Drew had this conversation many a times.
Plenty of times. But I think honestly, what you just said, like, really, like, summed up, like the heart of our podcast, because we're not like we love craft beer. We like all beer. Can get some of that good stuff.
I want some of my Peebo.
We like craft beer, and we're down with craft beer and the whole ins and outs of the craft beer scene. But we're not gonna shy away from getting down on some whatever, you know. Yeah. Beer's beer. You want to drink. I think
it's a social event.
Social drinking between everybody. That's what it's really about. You know what I mean? So.
Hashtag drinking on the influence. I'm talking on the influence. Drinking on the influence.
But not driving.
That's a redundant shit.
Hashtag you can wait.
Hashtag take a lift.
Hashtag take a lift or Uber.
So Lyft, speaking of Lyft, you can during Beer Week get, I think, like 35% off your first ride during Beer Week with.
So I applied for what do you call it? With Lyft, you can apply for affiliate marketing. So you get like a code with them, and I haven't heard back from you, Lyft.
Yeah, come on, Lyft.
I haven't heard back.
What was the guy's name?
Get over here, B.
Don't get sting now.
No, I'm just hanging out with
some of that.
What's that good stuff?
So the reason my parents came on the podcast. No way, you about to get stung, bro.
Nah, bro.
I swear to God,
get stung.
Don't you know it's the age-old saying, you don't mess with them, they will mess with you.
You weren't scared either. That's like you smell it, right? No. That kid from Jerry Maguire.
To be fair, I got stung not that long ago by a bee. Or no, it was a wasp.
I don't fuck with wasps.
Wasps will sting you with no. Bees will sting you if they're scared or whatever.
Yeah.
Wasps just sting you because it's a wasp.
You know why? Because bees will die if they sting you. Wasps don't die.
I think they're also smarter, would be my guess, but I don't know that to be true. I'd like to think it. Wasps don't pollinate anything, nor do they keep our society going.
They're ravaging like all the.
Right. Yeah. So. They just like to build shit up above my
and kill everything.
Make my kid freaked out. For the most part, so yeah, I'm with you. And like early on, remember Henry's Plano, Henry's Tavern up in Plano?
Yeah.
So they opened. They're from Portland, and I had gone out to Portland for my old job, that Exeter place, and gone to their original thing, and like met one of their marketing people and all this stuff. So when they opened here, they hit us up and they said, we want to do one event that's public facing, which we did like a Meet the Brewer deal, which was really cool. Early on, you had like Wim from Lakewood standing at a deal, and people from Petty Cola standing at a deal.
Kind of like show how it's done.
Yeah, because you could, back then, it was a lot easier to get people to do stuff like that because they were just so early on. And then they did another one that was like bloggers or like influencer focused. I don't even think that was a word back then.
Yeah, I hear that word.
The media.
Pretty much, if you call yourself an influencer, what I've realized is you probably not to be mean or rude, but it's like the smartest person in the room telling you how smart you are. It's
You're not that smart.
Yeah.
maybe not as.
There's a few big beer blogs here in North Texas that are called themselves influencers. I was like,
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I don't want to shit on anybody.
No,
I didn't
no,
mean that
I'm-
as a-
no, I'm talking about-
but
I mean-
for
I
me,
mean,
yeah,
I was
like
like-
I wouldn't ever.
I'm an influencer.
Because back in the day, that was and again back in the day, like 8 years ago. So we
back in the day, like 40 years ago.
Yeah, we didn't use that I word. So they asked us to do this thing, and that's exactly what we did. We brought the guys that used to own Dallas Beer Kitchen. They had a thing called the Best Damn Stuff in Dallas, something like that. They came out. I mean, it was that exactly what you're talking about. So to that end, I mean, this could be a good medium for it. Like, shout out, let's throw the out to all the.
No, so
and dude, this would be Corey would host that in a heartbeat.
well, that's what I was gonna ask you. Like, how can we do something? Because so at the end of the day, we all enjoy beer, whatever facet it is. Like we talked about Hops and Grain earlier. Their podcast completely different from ours and yours.
Yeah, and I think also too.
But we all want to drink beer and
If
learn.
you started something like it, you're passionate. You should want to share your passion.
Yeah.
That was the whole bit when I started, right?
Yeah.
It's like being born and raised here, naively early on. I'm like, I want more beer and more people to know about it. We'll quickly learn
It comes with
culture and laws and all this stuff, which
Yeah.
we've come a long way in a short time. But yeah, I'd love it. Let's try to get something like that together.
Yeah.
Let's wait till after beer week for my own brain. But
Yeah, well, you're super busy.
For your
and
own
shit, if we
sanity.
started like a quarterly, it could be here, it could be Craft and Growler one time, it could be wherever else, and just do like a, hey, come and meet up and have a couple beers and share ideas, because that's one thing that I've always wanted to do with Beer Week, and it's happened somewhat, but the collaboration thing, like, you do this, that's really cool over here, well, you do this, that's really cool over here. Let's Voltron them and put them together and make something that's even cooler than the two of them apart.
I want to get everybody from the whole craft beer scene, like brewers and all that stuff, and everybody shotgun a beer. Some sort of like shotgun a beer.
So we tried the first beer week. We wanted to do the world's largest shotgun.
I was about to say that.
And
Yeah,
we were going to do it at the Four Corners parking lot just because I think they were one of 6 breweries open and they were big enough, and community wasn't even open there.
They have a lot of like space out there. Yeah.
Yeah, and so the original Four Corners, like in Trinity Groves, across from Luck, shout out.
Yep.
Shout out.
They do all our brew bus food and have since day one. So those dudes were
Luck
shit.
is good.
But the Guinness Book of World Records told us that they do not acknowledge, nor will they send anyone out for alcohol related.
But didn't they just say it? Wasn't there like an event like last week or 2 weeks ago?
So I commented on Ben's thing, right? It was up at Bearded Monk, I think, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah, I
he
saw
said,
that, yeah.
they're not acknowledging it. Like, I didn't mean to call him out, but it was like, it was the same story.
What if we start?
Well, who needs Guinness Book? We should just do the biggest in North Texas.
Exactly.
right?
We'll start our own
I think Jacob.
beer craft brewers world record.
So there's time
There's 2
before
things we
Beer
want
Week
to do.
something like
There's
that.
2 things we want to do. The chugging thing is very important to us because now we chugging. Our intro to every podcast is us chugging beers with our guests and hanging out, and that's our intro. So we want to do something like that. It'd be cool. Second thing is,
And I'll tell you, I barely got on the shotgun train, and I'm having a hard time with the chugging train.
I
Not
learned how
for
to
any
shotgun from-
whatever reasons, but just like I'm like I said, I feel like I'm very old, and like that takes a lot out of me very
he's
fast.
only 24 years old.
It's like a very, one chug is. I even didn't finish the story earlier. Like I leave my knife anytime I shotgun a beer at a brewery, and I have to go pick it back up. So.
Like,
But that's a calling sign.
Is that Dixon? Is
Go
that
full
Dixon?
circle for that.
I'll save that.
That's a
save
calling
that.
sign. Oh, that's Dixon. He was here chugging the beers last night.
One time I did a bus the day after I left it at Oak Islands, did a bus that went to Lakewood. It's close enough. Got my people situated, jumped on the bus, rode over there, pulled up, and David, who's the taproom manager, was like, damn, man, you just pull up with a bus? And like, so it felt kind of cool just to rock up, pull up with a, yeah, I just drive around like a 32-person coach.
This is what I do. I'm here to pick up my friends. We're gonna have the epic party.
You're the local area's biggest Lyft driver in the area.
Yeah, shit, since however many years and dozens of buses, hundreds and hundreds of people we've taken from brewery to brewery and forced them to drink good beer and listen to me on the bus.
So let's talk about the bus.
Yeah, so tell us about your beer tour. So where do you guys start from? Where do you
So we switch it up. It's community a lot just because they're open later. They're centrally located. I swear every time we try to like, hey, we're going to start in Fort Worth and come to Dallas, nobody buys tickets. In all honesty, this past year, I don't know if it's because there's other ones that have popped up that are doing it or just saturation or whatever. But this year is the first time we've really had like a hard time, to the point where I just was like, we're gonna do private tours until further notice. So I've got some ideas of what I want to do next year for
How can we help?
bus tours. I'd love to have you guys on one once we pop
That'd be
back
great.
up, because that'd be cool. Just to even, like you can record at each brewery and
Yeah.
do some stuff on the bus. That'd be awesome.
We got the gimbal for it.
We have a few gimbals. I have another gimbal for back order for like stationary on cars.
Yeah.
So there's
Put that thing in the back and just
and then
do
have
it
us
all.
hang out, and so we have a few ideas. So, but we'd love to help out and promote that.
Yeah, see, I am all about, like I said, collaborating with other people. Like I said, I'd love the idea of we get all those people together. There would surely be. We've talked about trying to do an Olympics. Me and a bunch of breweries.
We did,
Trying to do an
yeah, we
Olympics.
did.
We've talked about.
We're
trying
thinking
to
about
do-
doing like a charity Olympics where we have brewery bars versus each other, like breweries, not breweries and bars in general. Just you come as
You're like a
own
team,
common
right?
table,
The
yeah.
common
You're-
table team.
yeah.
There's
Common
the-
table
Bring your
team.
best from each of your
There
entities.
could be the blogger team. Or
Yeah,
the,
whatever you want to do, but just have a team set up, and then it's all going to charity. But we all come hang out, record it, we all have fun,
And it's gonna end with the line check with Das Boot at the end.
Yeah, there you
so
go.
it's gotta end with
That's
that.
the
Remember
champion
Battle
event.
of the Stars that used to be on back in the 80s?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know if to know that.
Yeah.
But
So
I
like
wanna-
something like that is what I've always thought of. Is
That
like
would
you
be
do
sweet.
beer, you do like Beer Fest, the fictional movie.
Yeah.
But you do real version of it, and
Exactly.
it's that. It's like, hey, Team X, you get 3 people, and it could be fans of yours or people that work the tap room or
Bring your best.
actual employees. But yeah, we're gonna do a chug one. We're gonna do a. So I have a side note. I don't know why I just thought of this, but one time on the patio of Brain Dead, maybe 40 people shotgunned the beer. The one smallest lady on that patio, whose name is Georgina, she used to be a brewer for
Petty Colas?
Petty Colas.
I was gonna say I know that
She's
name.
not left us. She went overseas and then now she's gone to.
Boo.
Yep.
Boo.
She's like Eureka Heights maybe or something, but
I
love
actually
you,
love
Georgie.
Eureka.
You're the
Yeah,
shit.
Georgie,
She's one of
you're
my
cool as shit.
absolute favorite.
I don't know
people
who
I've
she
ever met. Oh, she's awesome.
No, she was on the podcast.
She destroyed everybody, and I recorded it and showed it to her, and she's like, "Oh, I'm embarrassed." I'm like, why would you be embarrassed about that? You just
We were all impressed.
yeah, like you killed, and I'm talking not even. It wasn't close. Next person, it was like her shit hit the ground before the next person had even got to this point. It was impressive. It's way faster than I could shotgun a beer. For sure.
That's how she found her boyfriend, I think.
I think that's how.
On that patio,
Wow, I'm impressed.
I can shotgun faster than
Let me buy you a beer. You know, it's funny. So, my wife and I are expecting a child on the way.
Congrats.
So,
Congratulations. Congratulations, brother.
Also,
yes.
good luck.
Thank you. Yeah. We got 2.
My one is hard to keep up.
We got
has
2 already.
14.
We got 2 already. This is third. Number 3.
What are the ages of your two?
8 and 2.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
So 8 can help some.
Oh yeah. 8's helping a
2's
lot
not
already.
helping any. But
2's like destroying everything right now. Yeah. 2's making it all about her.
Yeah.
So, Amy brought it up. My wife. We should do
I was hoping it
a
wasn't
gender
your
reveal.
girlfriend or something.
My girlfriend.
Amy, sorry.
My side one. She was saying we should do a gender reveal at a brewery
Yeah.
and get everybody invited and stuff. And I was thinking we do it at Oak Highlands. They
Yeah.
have that big little spot in the back.
They do it. Brad and
Yeah.
them are cool, man.
Yeah, so we talked to them and see what's up.
Yeah, we'll give them a
little
call.
gender
My
reveal.
wife's lucky there were not breweries open. Like there
Yeah.
weren't tap rooms or space that you could do it, but like tubs.
Yeah.
Married in tubs. I've heard of that.
Ooh, McKinney.
In fact, we looked at where to the cotton gym thing and just went somewhere else. But so we would have for sure had our rehearsal dinner or whatever at a brewery, and we probably would have got married at a brewery.
There you
Probably
go.
got married at Community would have been my guess. Like
That'd have been dope.
if
That
they
would've
had
been
had their
dope.
existing tap room. I love Community. Like so, our brew bus thing was kind of not really born there, but we had the idea for the first North Texas Beer Week. We were going to do a tour, and they couldn't get open. The city of Dallas wouldn't let them open, so we ended up doing a tour at Petty Colas that's kind of gone down in history as my wife's first outing after we had our kids. She was just talking about this to somebody last weekend, and had Wintervention. It was the first day Wintervention was a beer that was available, which is one of my favorite. That beer.
That's tough.
Oh, it's so dangerous.
You
dude.
come after almost
It's
a
like
year
an
not
hour in,
drinking?
she drank too fast, right?
She was like, oh, big beer.
And comes to me and our kids with us, and she comes up to me and is like, "Can I have another Wintervention?" I'm like, "No."
No, I'm cutting you off.
And she's like, "Why not?" I'm like, "Because you haven't drank in like a year." And
You're looking drunk. Mighty
although
drunk.
she did have some Utopia, so my birthday was the day they killed Bin Laden. which is just random.
Oh shit!
And a bunch of my
This
friends.
is a random fact.
Yeah.
So
hold on. That is, it doesn't get more American than that. Okay.
Yeah, I'm like the most esoteric motherfucker.
I'm just saying, if we ever have a trivia night about North Texas Beer Week, that's a trivia. That's a trivia question.
Dixon's birthday was on the same day as, or not every year, but that year, right? Whatever year it was, right? So it was, we had a bottle of Utopias. Like a bunch of our friends got together and surprised me with a bottle of Utopia.
That's dope.
And this was when that was like trying to go out and get
Something
I don't
super
know,
rare.
right? Yeah, like I mean, this was 10 years ago.
The Honey Unicorn.
Whatever,
bring it
however
back.
that was, right? And so my wife, we didn't know it. She was pregnant with our now son. But then while she was pregnant with him, we went to Stone. We went to all these different breweries together. So like my kid, both in, you know,
Loves Utopia stuff.
and yeah, he can't get enough of it. Like, have to hide the bottle every time we get it.
God, this is getting expensive. The formula. The
Just
formula was gonna be bad.
pour up a Nonic pint, an Imperial pint. So you don't even know why. You just can't get enough of it.
What was your thought on Utopia? It's like, what do you, like overall? Is it worth
I
the
think it's
hype?
cool. I mean,
Is it the price?
it's for how we did it, or they did it, I guess, for sure.
Yeah.
Or, you know, Brewers Ball, like I'm just rubbing salt in everyone's face that wanted the Brewers Ball to be here this year, and it's not, but every year we would have one, and one year we had like 6 bottles of it.
All I'm saying
so then
is
people
this-
started to expect it, which is tough.
Well, me, this is my first year being really involved. We as a team,
Collectively, or the royal.
we as a team, as a podcast, is being really involved this year as part of the community and try to get involved. We want to help out and be involved as much as we can. But this is my first year that I really get into craft beer, period. But me getting involved with it, I heard about the Brewers Ball, and then I saw the forum that you guys like. It's not happening this year. Don't know. There's no speculation. It's just not happening.
Yeah, it's tough. I try to stay off, and again, it's like part of it is the thing we mentioned earlier, like that kind of. I think there's a rift that's happened now that I think is really, really unhealthy. Honestly,
How can we heal it? How can we bring it
I
back
don't know
together?
that. I mean, I think it'll round back up.
Utopia's for everybody.
Right, that would help. Get everybody in a room and just because it's like you said, not everybody's much different, and I don't have anything. I've never had anything against anybody. There are a handful of people, and part of why I love beer, part of why I've always loved this scene so much is I've never fucked anybody over, or at least I've tried not to. Nobody's ever told me if I have, and very few times has anybody like truly like done that to me, and so it really. I mean, even the people that I think maybe aren't the biggest fans of me or whatever it would be. I don't necessarily know. Like, there was a time where it was a lot easier to kind of get everybody to the same table and say, hey, we're all running in the same direction. You're in this lane, I'm in this lane, and yeah, we may do some of this.
We're all going north, baby.
But yeah, it's the rising tide thing, right? I mean, the mission of Beer Week from the day of its inception was and has always been to increase the awareness and responsible consumption of good beer across North Texas. That's beer that's made here. Luckily, we've got 60, 70 breweries that are...
Also, we have a bunch of breweries that won
JBF.
JBF.
So less than ever, though, which I don't know that's I don't think that's a sign of anything.
You said less than ever?
Yeah, this was or at least since in the last 5 years of the boom, there were less North Texas breweries bringing home medals from that.
Because we drive that innovation, and then everybody else is taking note.
Well, so I mean, it's really part of it goes with the divisive thing too. I think part of that started with the haze stuff, which I love hazy IPAs.
Yeah.
But do you though?
So I like the ones that I really, really like. Like Turning Point makes some awesome beer.
Shout out to Tony Point, and also
Tubbs, Struggle Dry Hops.
Tubbs is phenomenal.
Tubbs, that Day of the Dead. Oh my God!
I got a 6-pack in the fridge right now.
So the one, I mean, I think IPAs is my favorite style of beer. Like I'm more often than not going to drink it.
I started with the super bitter, like the hophead style super bitter, and I'm all about it. And then I think like it's cool going from like that super bitter and then trying a whole bunch of different stuff, and then seeing it kind of switch over to like the IPA
that's
style,
about as intense
hazy
flavors you can get.
Yeah, and it's kind of like real chuggable and real juicy.
It just seems like at some point it became, if it's not. I gotta be careful because I get myself in trouble. But if it's not a hazy, juicy IPA or pale ale or double whatever, or if it's not a pastry stout or if it's not a barrel aged whatever, like there's a small group of the beer loving community that to me are like the waivers of the past that used to be bringing people in left and right, like people like you guys, however you guys got into beer. You know, it was probably like, what was it? I didn't speculate.
So Drew loves craft beer, and this is all Drew's idea as far as drinking craft beer on the show. I came to Drew because I think me and Drew, as we used to work together, I think we had really good, intelligent debates amongst each other because me and him think vastly different about the world, but we both end at the same thing, but we just think differently.
We like to drink.
We like to drink, and so I want.
Like one of your path is this way, and one of your path.
But we all.
You drink?
Yeah.
we both end up in the same place as far as conversation. So I wanted to have a show about a conversation with my friend, and he was like, "So let's center around something." And he was like, he brought up the idea about craft beer because I don't drink beer prior to this show.
Yeah.
I may drink Miller
But
here.
you've not. So like it's one of those things too that people don't really. Like you consider yourself a craft beer drinker now,
yeah,
and would never probably go where you're like, well,
he would talk shit. Yeah, he talk shit, mad shit about some craft beer drinkers. Yeah. I think it's cool because I think it's not so much about being like a beer nerd and it's like, oh, you're uppity beer snob kind of stuff. It's more like, once you realize that beer can be so much more than what the mainstream beer is, and you can kind of get into like the whole scene of like trying new stuff, and it's kind of innovative and stuff. It's cool because you can try a lot of really unique stuff you would never know is beer. Other outside of being like Miller or Coors or Bud, you know, what all that stuff. So it's.
I think part of it too, like especially here, and really again here, we are seeing was right place, right time, just kind of like I was when I started everything, to where it was right when craft beer across the country and everywhere was just starting to kind of hit that thing, and so we were like, there's there's 2 or 3 other scenes that are kind of similar to ours that I think, like Atlanta and some that had this, and Charlotte had similar amount of breweries.
You think Chicago has a good scene?
Yeah, I think they had one existing before. I mean, I think there's some places that when the boom hit, like the Oregons and Colorado and California and all those, Seattle, even the Pacific Northwest, like they already had their scene and their culture going where we just didn't have one. And our culture still, I think it's kind of figuring itself out, and all that stuff.
Well, I can see this from, like I said, what made the show, when we solidified the show as we are now, that we want to meet everybody in craft beer and promote everybody and drink with everybody, is thanks to partly on Drew starting it. We just he brought beers that we never tried before because we had another host, and we just sit there and talk about life. And then we started hanging out with breweries. We hung out with Bitter Sisters. We hung out with Penny Colas. We hung out with Manhattan Project. We hung out with people who came on the show in the beginning, and it was so nice. I wasn't expecting because my idea of craft beer drinkers,
beer snobs,
was beer snobs. Was guys who that was just dicks that only drank certain kind of things, and they didn't care about. Like they didn't care about drinking, and they just want exclusive. Exclusive. Like this is rare. Blah blah.
Basically, all those commercials, right? Like,
is that below 90 IBUs? Excuse me.
Well, so I mean, we're joking, but that to me, there's
definitely a segment
small section that is.
But they're so much smaller than I thought. I thought that was all.
But
craft
they're
beer.
the vocal today. They're the vocal.
Yes, they are. But they're so much smaller than I thought they were.
Yeah, you thought that was everybody. I thought you painted with a broad.
Yes, I did. Definitely, and that's my fault. But that's what made this show.
Well, we're human. That's what we kind of do, you know?
Well, that's what made this show who it is, because I'm sorry for Bitter Sisters, the head brewer there and the owner. And
Matt.
Stuff like that. Matt.
Yeah. We're all Matts at Bitter Sisters.
We're all
Matt M, Matt E.
Yeah, King Matt.
There's another Matt.
Yeah, Bitter Sisters Matt.
And then there's Matt me. So anytime we bring the bus there, it's the joke of like, Matt.
So Matt from Bitter Sisters was, I think, our second guest, and he was hilarious. Of course, Penny Colas came on. The brewers from Penny Colas came and got us fucked up. But everybody was different from walks of life, came from different walks of life, but they all had a passion for craft beer that made me appreciate craft beer more and wanted to try more craft beer.
That's what I fell in love with at the very beginning, honestly.
I think it could have been the show, or it could have just been that's how they truly are, but everyone's like really accepting of. So Victor's been very open, like, hey, I don't know a whole lot, so teach me. Like, I like this, I'm trying to learn about this, and I want to like more, so what am I expecting, or teach me about this. And everyone's been really like willing to be like, hey, you know, this is how we do this, and this is what a certain style is.
What a shitty business practice would it be to be like, you don't know about this? Well then.
Well, excuse me. Give the beer back, sir.
You got to get through this hurdle first before you can drink sit down. So like, you're not ready for that.
Thankfully, everybody we've encountered has been really cool. And has been really like willing to sit down and drink beer. And I think that's the core of it all is social drinking and everybody getting together and having fun and cutting it up.
Well, I think to me it's you're not. I mean, even I take all of the stuff I do super seriously, right? Like I'm crazy passionate about Beer Week. Would I love every single venue and brewery and entity in town to jump on board and support it? Yeah, but you know, I got so early on we did a shirt and there was I think 12 or 13 breweries that existed. I think they don't even, if you could find one of those now that'd be
rare.
Yeah, it's like I have one somewhere in my closet that's like hopefully not eaten by moss at this point.
Frame it.
It's like it's the worst color of gray, which doesn't help, and then it's kind of a pretty whack
but
design.
Memories,
right. It was early on. We were doing our own design. We didn't have all this stuff was originally created by a group called RBMM.
Really?
Who
dope.
did? So we had it.
Well, thank you for the shirt. Yeah,
no doubt. My buddy, who's
We were there in 2016.
he's in a
2015,
band called
2015.
Cure for Paranoia that's actually getting fairly big around here.
Yeah.
He created the first Dallas Brew Scene logo, which is
Really?
totally random. And then that's another one of your trivia one. And then he took that and went, well, I'm going to take that and do this with it. Or RBMM, sorry. So anyways, we have all that design stuff.
Nice.
No, that's phenomenal. But I just want to feel like there is a divide between certain breweries, certain locations, and there's a divide between the community on very minute things. From the outside looking in, you may have more insight to it, but so there's a divide, but in my opinion, it's very minor. And I don't understand why you let that minor divide stop us from working together. And as far as everything else that comes with craft beer, when it comes to the bloggers here, because there's a lot of good bloggers here in North Texas scene that they just blog about beers, and they're very in depth about it, and they're not assholes about it. If it's minor off flavors, they talk about it, and they're very nice about it too. They just say this is for them, and if they don't really like a beer, they don't ever talk about it. Most beer bloggers here that I've met in North Texas don't.
Yeah, reviews is tough. Like I never.
I saw real beer bloggers. I'm talking about there's like the Untapped scene is different, but I'm talking about like really big beer bloggers here in North Texas. They don't review beer. If they don't like a beer that much that they can't talk positive about it, they won't post it. They just talk about things.
It's kind of it's like can't say anything nice. You know?
Yeah, don't post it. But I just feel like there's a big enough community that we should come together.
No, I agree.
All together as podcasters, bloggers, people who I just like to fucking drink. I like why can't we all hang out?
You used to, when there was like Big Texas Beer Fest, the two nights of that or two sessions of it. Like, how much fun is it just to walk around and like, it's a whole bunch of people from all walks of life. Some people are walking around getting all the barrel-aged shit and ticking it on Untapped or rate beer. Some people are just walking around drinking beer and having a good time, and eating food and listening to music. And I think that's really what the thing I still love about it. It's what I really want more and more, like Beer Week and the Brew Bus and all. I mean, even Do 214, all the stuff that I do. We've been doing more, like this year, I've been doing that job for a year and 2 months or so. More and more beer content, featuring breweries, featuring beers. We've got one kind of revolver, little quick bite video that we put out the other day, and we've got another one where it's like I mentioned earlier.
Is it on like social media that we could pull it up and put it on?
So just go to the Do 214 page. It ties back what I was mentioning earlier. So there was 12 something breweries. We did this shirt. I got all 12 of them to participate in this program where their logo went on the shirt. They were able to sell it at cost. So I just get you buy it at cost and you sell it for whatever you want. Sell it for 20. And every single brewery that existed in North Texas at the time, this I think was the first year of Beer Week, got on board, did it, bought some of the shirts, and did the program. That would be impossible now.
Yeah,
there's no
a lot more interest and stuff. Yeah,
and everybody has different. There are some people. The frustrating thing is when people just don't reply to me. Which the next
I know. Trust me, I know.
The next from the hip is going to be, I think, pretty interesting about a lot of that stuff because I'm going to be pretty.
Well, you bring a lot more weight than we do for sure. So if we don't get any response, we understand. But I mean, you've been in the scene for a minute, so.
Well, like the people for this year for Beer Week that it's not for, like it doesn't fit, right? Again, we said earlier it's not going to be everything to everybody. I have to try to use the paintbrush thing, paint as broad as I can on it because it came from a thing that there was 6 to 10 breweries that now there's whatever number there are with how many other places.
Like 60 breweries.
How many getting there?
North Texas. Like
Cowtown just opened.
Yeah.
Celestial, which I was saying I'm probably going to go there.
Manhattan Project hasn't officially opened yet, but they're going to open pretty soon.
Building. Oak Cliff is open now.
Just open. It's just
I think what we need to have is a Brewers Beer Talk Ball coming up sometime soon and just get everybody back on track,
2019.
Something like that.
I'm all for it. I think, you know what, things I'm going to try to do, and we'll see, but with Beer Week is like, can everybody come somewhere and just talk to me? And like I was starting to say, the ones that have hit me up and said, hey, this is the thing, or this is the thing, or this is what we're trying to do, like, hey, okay. I mean, there's a personal part.
Yeah.
That's what's really interesting is again, starting where I did, like I have all these deep personal relationships with a lot of people. Some of my best friends are, people that I've met through this doing this thing we do type of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Which is great, but so then it creates a weird deal, right? To where it's like, well, how come, especially with the ball in previous years, how come you didn't, we weren't a thing at the ball? Like, well, this was the way we did it. And we've tried different ways every year, but it's just
pride kind of comes into the whole.
It gets tough, man. People get hurt by the minus thing. Like,
but I've always had it's probably not 100% right just because it is what it is, but everything I've always tried to do is at the best interest of our scene. Like, it's true to everything of why I started all the shit I do, like I said. Yeah. Which is, not enough people drink a good beer. We have one of the biggest markets. Our per capita is ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
Meaning the number of people that are drinking, like, good or whatever. It's part of the fun thing, too, is, like, what craft is. Yeah, has really started to get kind of
changed. So on that note, I want to talk about what's craft, and maybe you could chime in too, Drew. I know you haven't really had as much to talk about this question too. I have a thing about what's craft beer, right? But on the side note, support North Texas Beer Week. If you're here in the DFW area and there's an event nearby you, please support. If it's not nearby you, there's tons of great beer. Definitely check it out.
Yeah, the big, that's as we leave, sorry, and I'll let you say what you're going to say.
No, I'm just trying to wrap this up.
No,
I know your thing is coming up.
The big thing, like, please support the people that are on that website.
Yeah.
That is the biggest thing, because, and nothing against anybody that didn't, again, there's people that had their reasons and have hit me up and had valid reasons, but the thing exists because of the people that are on that ntxbeerweek.com and all the events that are listed on there. So I'm not saying don't go anywhere else during that week, but please try to, like, if you ever wanted to go to the Common Table or Common Table Frisco, check out one of their events. If you ever wanted to go to Brain Dead, if you ever wanted to check out Taverna Rosa or Union Bear or Dots or Eastside or
Dots is phenomenal. There's a tons of great places.
These places like Free Play Arcade.
What do you guys say about One Last Chug? One last chug.
We do one last chug before thing, but before we get to the chug thing, I'll get the beers. But I want to know.
I got it. I'll be right back.
So Rodney, we were talking about you. You're a phenomenal bartender.
Oh well, thank you.
Great representation of Common Table.
Who's watching my stuff in there now? Oh boy, no, I'm kidding. My laptop's in there.
So we're nearing the end of the show, and I just wanted to bring him into the mix. And we want to say cheers. Thank you guys to Common Table for having us out here.
So White Rascal?
No, close though, right? You think so?
Oh my God, I was close.
Yeah, Salud, ABB. So cheers, guys.
Salud.
Tasty.
That was delicious.
That's very good.
That was good.
Very good.
Look at it. He chugged it like a champ.
He did a great job.
Bring it back his 21-year-old body.
So anyways, if you guys come out to Common Table, visit Rodney.
Ask for Rodney.
It's a great job. Very good on the recommendations, and is a
Except
very...
from 20%, always.
Yeah, 80%. Please.
Minimum 20.
Anyways.
If you have not been to the Common Table, let's turn the last few minutes into just a Common Table.
No, here's the thing. This is my first time at the Common Table, and when I came here, Ronnie was telling me about this place, and I was like, I've never been here before. He's like, it's one of the first gastropubs here? Like, how you not been here? Like,
so food...
Not being a dick way. He didn't say it in a dick way.
No, I didn't.
No.
Yeah, Rodney's not pretentious at all. He's the least pretentious person I maybe have ever met.
He's
and I mean that. He's the shit.
Surprised.
So food, awesome. Every Monday night they have a $29 poor man's beer dinner. It's not, you have to come at 5 because it starts then. It's just come, and as long as they still have, you guys run out probably sometimes when it's really good ones.
When it's real busy, we do run out.
Yeah, but it's smaller than this, like a 10-ounce beer, 10-ish ounce beer, and 4 little smaller pairings. For $29, you can't get that anywhere else for a beer dinner.
Oh, yeah.
Tuesday, Brews Day Tuesdays, have breweries that come. A lot of times the rep or the owner will be here. They've done that since day one. To me, this is, and again, this is my cheers, right? Like, this is if I was to name, like,
so
my
everybody
place.
knows your name.
Yeah. And that's why when you asked, I'm like, man, if we could do it here, not only do I feel super comfortable here, which is great, but I just knew, it's like, so if you have not come to this one or the new Frisco location, I would do it. If you are a person who fancies yourself like Corey, my friend, the owner, a super taster, as he says.
I like the
Super
name.
taster.
God, I need that title, Super Taster.
Yeah, he's self-professed super
That's
taster. But
one rank above Cicerone, I think.
they have They have a system. It's one of few. I think Civil Pour has one now. I think Lakewood's Tap Room has one. They have the same one in Frisco. Neil Whitty, who's like the quality director for the BA, is who installed the system here. Installed the one in Frisco, same as Civil Pour, the Chad Nelly's new place, Big Texas. But they have this machine that cleans the lines. And how often do you guys do it?
We try to do it twice a week. Usually we'll clean 8 at a time. So we just try to get everything cleaned every 2 weeks.
So it's literally the cleanest, freshest.
So
How can we get more breweries? Because I'm again being new to beer. When I go to some of these places that don't clean their lines, you can taste it.
You got to be a freak like Corey and be willing to lose money. He's like me and most everything we do. Just is like we're gonna do this really cool shit, and we're gonna lose money going into
well, that's
it.
what I was telling you about. This is going to be the cheapest craft beer that you can find in Dallas, because we will be willing to lose money to give you a pour of, like I said, Dogfish 120 or some of the Avery Barrel
Avery
Age.
Tweak we just had.
So you're getting a pour of that, and you're paying less than $10 for it.
No, I'll tell you this right now. The tweak we had today,
2017 Avery Tweak was delicious.
delicious.
$8.
It was $8
Because the other thing is the keg was kept
Yeah.
correctly, right?
Yeah,
So, like,
but then
just
we
the
paid other
attention to
places.
every detail.
We paid another place $17. We paid $17 for the same beer at another place. Not that I'm shitting on that
And
place.
it rhymed with Frunkin' Frankie. Do those still exist?
Yes. Funky.
Whatever those are now. Yeah.
So
I
it's
think
not
they changed the Dallas Craft Kitchen or something.
not to talk about them in general, but it's just $17 for the same beer for the same experience.
No, it's
phenomenal.
not talking bad about them. That is
What's funny is
probably
perception, because some people would come in here and see that and go, I'm not paying $8 for a thing. Well, then you look at the ABV and it's like, that's a glass of wine plus some.
Yeah.
And it
On
tastes
top of that,
better.
Yeah,
And it tastes
it
better.
sat in a bourbon barrel for 18 months and is about as good as it gets.
So I got a question. What was your first craft beer you ever tried?
Oh my gosh.
You had to pick one. What was your
So
first
he's
ever
only
craft
22,
beer?
so I would say community.
That's true.
Yeah, no,
Common Table's helped really accelerate.
yeah, oh,
your
it has.
journey,
It
right?
has.
Yeah.
When I started working at Common Table, the only beers that they had on tap that I'd had before was maybe Velvet Hammer and Founder's Breakfast Stout.
Okay.
The rest of it was all just just a wonderland of, ooh, what's
And
this?
now you guys
What's
get new
this?
stuff in and you're like, oh yeah, I've heard of blah, blah, blah before. Yeah.
I'm not quite that jaded yet, but you know.
Ah, it's jaded.
But even
Never be
before-
jaded, right?
Even
No,
before I
never.
worked here, you know,
Never.
you go to the grocery store and one end has your Miller Lite, Bud Light, and the other end's all the little craft stuff. I always shop from that end. And that's one thing this place does center a lot around: special releases, stuff that's only available once a year. So you're not seeing that stuff that I can just go to the grocery store and get that.
Yeah,
you
so
know?
for Beer Week, up here, is it AleSmith that night? The AleSmith night is Friday, I want
I
to say. And I
can't
think you guys have
remember.
glassware. We can look it up, but it was a bunch of crazy AleSmith stuff, a couple I've ever seen. And then in Frisco, there was 2 years old, Bourbon County, and some other stuff.
way.
They do New Year's Eve dinners too that are prefix that are amazing.
So here's the thing. Can I have a question? I know you, of course, you know the owner, but my birthday is December 1st. It's a Saturday. Can I have an event here? And can we make it fun and do a podcast here at the same time?
I'm sure he'd be down. Yeah.
That's above my. You would have to definitely talk to.
So that's a yes.
hope for
That's a
the
yes. So that's a yes. My birthday's here.
He can hope for the best. He can hope.
Saturday's hard just because it is pretty. I was trying to do I went to Hair of the Dog in Portland, and they do a Fred Fest. And I just happened to, I didn't even know it was happening, and we're in there, and so I'm like, yeah, I'll buy a ticket, and it's kind of all you can eat drink and all you can eat food, which is tough to do. We always do it with the ball. So it's circumvented it. But I talked to him about doing it here, and we were going to do it on a Saturday, and he's like, you got to do the math on it. Again, we're both crazy, and we'll do stuff that doesn't make sense and loses money. But on a Saturday, but now you're not talking about closing the place down.
No, it'd be in
Give me a
the
shot. I can
midday.
build a bridge for you.
Yeah, it's
At least
minute.
ask.
So what I'm thinking of maybe 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock. you know, not too long. And then we dip out after.
So one of the most fun things we're doing, and if you really want to get crazy,
Let's get crazy.
that Saturday night we're doing the third bus to nowhere.
Oh, we have a gimbal.
Rodney will be there.
So starts here. I want to say at 5. Tickets are on sale for it, or no, they will be soon. Corey sent it up. Starts here. We're gonna go out to a place, probably shotgun a beer, like at some clandestine location. Go to Civil Pour, Chad and Ellie's spot.
I live right by the
Have
Civil
a beer,
Pour.
get some coffee if you want, get whatever.
I need a coffee.
Go to Bowls and Tacos as a quick pit stop. Cans will be ready. Shotgun a can, grab a taco, get back on the bus and go. Go to Brain Dead, hang out there for a while, and then come here. And then we'll end here. And then he's got an event happening that night that has a band called Duel. That's a pretty cool local band. And then they're gonna play their set, and then the second half of the set.
You mind if I vlog that?
It's
Can I vlog
Tenacious
that?
D. It's not my
Tenacious
event
D?
set. So
Real-
it's no, Tenacious D.
Tenacious D
They're playing
covers?
covers.
Okay.
Oh my God! Get the fuck out of here!
So anyways, thank you for Rodney for jumping on and chugging with us.
They do have live music here like crazy. Big
No,
supporters of
no.
the-
So we will be part of that. If not, me and Drew. I know Drew has a family, but I will be there. We have our gimbal. We can vlog that. If you don't mind, I don't mind vlogging
I'm
it.
getting there's that building you can see right there. It's
Oh,
an
he's buying a
Airbnb.
building. He's buying
He's buying two buildings.
Two buildings for
I
us.
can't buy health insurance, much less building.
Because you've been saving for the building.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's the one misconception is like I own the bus that we do. I'm like,
Yeah.
I've always ridden it. It used to be a school bus, just like the logo on that shirt would indicate. But now we've upgraded in the past year or so, and it's like a pretty nice, like air conditioned and all that. Well, there's Airbnbs over there that are pretty cheap. So like, if you want
Nice.
to do that crazy night, we in back here. We have some food and drink here.
No, I'm down. So Dallas Beer Talk will be. So just I'll text you. We'll make it happen. We'll be there. We'll be vlogging the whole
It's
time.
a 56-person bus. So last time, 3 or 4 people showed up to do the event. And we
We
ended up
will
not
get
doing
the people there.
No, we will get there. So we're gonna wrap this up. I know you have a call coming up real soon.
do.
So Observer, shout out to Observer. We appreciate you. You guys are good people out there too. But
it. I hope it's a good call. not a bad
That would be a
call.
great call now that you.
there are
you're
people
ready. You're
for
ready.
all our people here in the North Texas area. We need you to come support all our local places, especially people here during North Texas Beer Week. Common Table's phenomenal place. The music they've been playing the whole time in the background, it's all them. It's great.
Yeah, Corey makes all the playlists.
It's fun. The playlist has been no misses since I've been here. There's not been one miss since I've been here as far as music. I heard the food here is great, but anywhere else here during North Texas Beer Week, please support. And then we'll keep you posted on more information coming up. But we will be involved as much things we can be, hanging out with Matt. And I thank you for coming on here, man.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And then I definitely want to be
I would
involved.
cheers you, but we've chugged it all.
We chugged it all. And the thing about the chug, we're gonna wrap that chug up at the end. At the end.
We'll make some magic happen.
We make some magic happen. But anyway,
Oh, that's true.
I do appreciate everything. Thank you for everything. I love you, brother.
Thanks, appreciate it.
We got some
I'll
plans
say,
coming up for you.
don't forget to do 214, guys. So go check them out and support. And
Yeah, basically, if you're looking
yeah.
for something to do in Dallas or the DFW area on any given night, food, drink, music, we can do giveaways like crazy. You'd be amazed how many of those go unclaimed.
really,
I end up like a lot of times
It's like,
outside them out. So
hey,
we can see what we can do to help out.
Yeah.
bring the awareness. So, anyways, thank you guys. It was fun being here at the Common Table. Check it out if you haven't. Great beer, great prices, and it was a fun little podcast we had today. And so, thanks to King Dixon and Sir Victor and myself,
No,
Dirty
Sir
Drew,
Andrew.
Dirty Drew.
Sir Andrew,
Dirty
with
Drew.
the 40 kids. Have
Yeah.
a great week. Take a lift. Drink responsibly. Peace.